Hey guys, Shifty here, and welcome to Can I Beat Pokemon Platinum with only Shroomish and Breloom. Shroomish, and more specifically Breloom, are some of my favorite Gen 3 Pokemon, and it has a grass and fighting typing, making it super unique. But being cool can only get you so far, as Breloom is kind of lacking in the stats, except for attack. By TM, we have some good options, specifically the rock moves Rock Tomb and Rock Slide, which are going to be big helps with the flying types that are going to give us a lot of problems. As far as gyms go, I think we should be okay except for Fantina, who kind of walls us with her spooky ass ghost types. I replaced Turtwig with Shroomish, meaning we have to fight Infernape, which I'm sure will be easy and not cause any problems whatsoever, and I name him Dignan. Common if you know the reference. After making our way to Julife, we battle Barry. He leads with a Starly, and we land a few tackles before getting our attack ruined by growls. So I decide to try and paralyze with Stun Spore, but miss twice before finally landing it, and Starly stays fully paralyzed for long enough for Absorb to KO and to bring us back to full HP. Last is Chimchar, and I go right for Stun Spore, hoping for more full paralysis luck. And between his own bad move choice going mostly for Leer and full paras, we eventually can whittle down Chimchar with Absorbs. We make our way to Orberg, and it's time for the first gym, and it goes about as expected, with Geodude and Onix both being dropped by Absorb. But Kratos is a real problem with a 135 attack stat, but the real killer of this run was the crit pursuit right at the end. On the next attempt we just get crit twice and lose, but the third tries the charm as Leech Seed and Absorb recovery just barely out-heal Kratos' headbutts, even though one flinches us, winning us our first gym badge. On the way to Floroma Town while battling a random bug catcher, something interesting happens. His Weedle poisons us with Poison Sting, but we don't lose HP at the end of the turn. Instead, we gain HP. This is because of our ability Poison Heal, which heals us for even more than Leftovers, and in addition to healing us, also obviously blocks any other statuses like Burn or Para. The only downside to this ability is for some inexplicable reason we still take poison damage while walking, so I'm investing heavily in potions this run. And we activated Poison Heal just in time, as it's time to battle Commander Mars and her Purugly. But first, her Zubat is no match for Leech Seed and Tackles, so we make it to Purugly with full HP. After a fake out from Purugly, we can hit it with a Stun Spore and Leech Seed on the following turn. Then it's as simple as clicking Mega Drain until Mars' fat cat has all of its 9 lives ended. On the way to Gardenia's gym, we get our evolution into the happy little dinosaur mushroom thing that is Breloom, and we get Mach Punch, a nice priority fighting type move. As for the actual battle with Gardenia, it goes like this. A headbutt crit takes out Turtwig, Rosary goes down in 2 headbutts but pairs us in the process, and Sharon faints in 2 headbutts for another easy gym badge. And you know what else is easy? Subscribing. It only takes a second and massively helps the channel. Anyways, on to Commander Jupiter. Her Zubat gets melted by a headbutt, and her Skuntank only ever clicked the resisted move Night Slash, meaning a few headbutts and Mach Punches ends the fight if you even want to call it that. Okay, Fantina time, and this is without a doubt going to be the hardest gym so far, and maybe of the entire run. At the moment, I only have 2 moves that can actually hit ghosts, Leech Seed and Mega Drain, and very quickly I realized that's not going to be enough, so I teach Dignan Rock Tomb over Mega Drain. It's the same base power but coming off our much higher attack stat, and this does help, but we rarely make it to her last Pokemon, Mismagius. A big part of this is her lead Duskull burning us with Will-O-Wisp, cutting our attack in half, so I decided to go activate Poison Heal. So with that done, I make the long trek back to Fantina with Poison Heal activated and 2 levels higher, and this is how it goes. Duskull is an easy 2-shot with Rock Tomb, and against Haunter we land Leech Seed and then a crit Rock Tomb to take it out. Lastly is Mismagius. We Leech Seed and she confuses us. We land Rock Tomb and she hits a nasty Psybeam for about a quarter of our health after Leech Seed and Poison Heal. Another Rock Tomb takes her to the red, and another Psybeam hurts, but with an Oran Berry and our other heals we can live. Fantina's super potions, but a crit Rock Tomb can take her out, winning us a tough gym battle that for sure would have taken a lot longer without Poison Heal. On our way out of Hearthome, we get to fight Barry, and we just mop the floor with him. Staravia and Monferno do basically nothing, and the rest of his team doesn't even put up a fight, but I'm sure it won't be like this forever. After making it through this dumbass gym puzzle, it's time for our fight with Maylene. Her lead Meditite hits a fake out and a confusion before going down, and her Lucario goes down in 1 Sky Uppercut, and her Machoke lands a crit strength, but it's simply not enough, and we KO it in return. On the way to the 5th gym, Barry ambushes us again and asks for a fight, so I kindly knock out all of his Pokemon without even breaking a sweat. Now it's time for Crasher Wake to feel my wrath, except it's actually much closer than I would have liked because we don't have a grass type move, and we have very little PP on our moves, so I have to play smart. He leads with Gyarados, but after landing a Leech Seed, we're in no real trouble as we can out-heal his waterfalls and eventually knock it out with Sky Uppercut. Second is Floatzel, which outspeeds and lands a mean Ice Fang for nearly half as we land a Sky Uppercut, which barely does anything after a held Citrus Berry. We land Sky Uppercut again to bring it to the yellow, but so does his Ice Fang. Then I misplay by going for Mach Punch, not expecting Wick to heal. Floatzel Ice Fangs us to bring us down to just 1 HP as we connect another Sky Uppercut, which is 90 accuracy by the way, to bring him in range of another Mach Punch. Last is Quagsire, but can hardly hurt us with Water Pulse, so Leech Seed and Mach Punches can take out Wick's last Pokemon, winning us another gym badge. Once we get through the dumbest route known to man, it's time to fight Cyrus. Sneasel easily goes down to a Mach Punch, then the real menace comes out. Golbat. Its Air Cutter absolutely demolishes Breloom, and in order for us to kill it, we have to hit 2 Rock Tombs. Not the hardest thing ever, but even when we do, his Murkrow just kills us with Drill Peck. I bang my head against this metaphorical wall, even trying return as a stronger option, but I cave and decide to come back a singular level stronger, and hilariously that was the answer. We knock out Golbat, and then Murkrow goes down to a single Sky Uppercut. It's crazy what one level can do for you. Making our way through Route 218, we arrive in Canalabe City, and it's time for another rival fight, and we get absolutely stomped like it's just embarrassing. Barry, Staraptor, and Infernape both have Aerial Ace, so it's just fucked. Eventually we try again 3 levels later, and it's a little better as for some reason Staraptor now goes for double team occasionally, meaning we get to Infernape with full HP and take it down with Sky Uppercuts. Next is Roserade, and we don't have a great move for it, but managed to brute force it with Sky Uppercuts, and second to last is Heracross, which also has Aerial Ace. After many more attempts, I break out the emergency TM Return. If you've ever watched a Pokemon challenge video like this one, I'm sure you're familiar with the move. It does more damage based on your Pokemon's friendship, and maxing out in 107 base power, and with 100 accuracy and the normal typing, it's a really consistent way to get damage, and so I replaced Leech Seed with it, and it actually just makes all the difference. Getting past Roserade with so much more HP and 2-shotting Heracross means we get to Floatzel for literally the first time and beat his ass. And as you could have guessed, the Steel Gym was a piece of cake even though we ran out of Sky Uppercut PP. Mach Punch was more than enough, especially the crit on Bastiodon. Now it's time for the story to kick in and make us go all over the place, the first being Lake Valor to fight Commander Saturn. He leads with a Golbat that goes down to the yellow from return and fires back with an Air Cutter to bring us below half HP, but another return cleans it up. Next is his Ace Toxicroak, which we bring to half after a Citrus Berry, and it takes us down to just 3 HP with a Poison Jab, but thankfully we outspeed and take it out on the next turn, leaving just his Bronzor, which just spams Iron Defense and weak Gyro Balls, meaning we get the KO pretty easily. And now it's on to Lake Verity to fight Commander Mars, and it goes about the same. Golbat Air Cutter still hurts, but we take it down, and then one-shot her Bronzor and her Ace Purugly. After a really easy gym, let's follow that up with an even easier one where we never get hit because Frostlass just whiffs her move. This is just getting embarrassing. Now it's time to go clear out Team Galactic from their Veilstone HU, but before that, it's time for a little field trip to Mount Coronet to get the TM Rock Slide. This is a huge upgrade over Rock Tomb as it's nearly twice as strong, as well as having a nasty 30% chance to flinch, and it immediately comes in handy for the next Cyrus fight as Crobat and Honchkrow are both one-shots, and Sneasel was there too, but that doesn't really connect to the whole Rock Slide point, so, but yeah, we won. Now it's time to go stop Cyrus at the top of Spear Pillar, and we have a double battle with Barry, and this is how it goes. We immediately kill his Munchlax so that Infernape comes out, as the Bronzor set up screens. We both hit the Bronzors as they land weak extra sensories, and on the following turn we KO one of them. Out next is Golbat, so I switched to Rock Slide to do over half as Infernape KOs the last Bronzor. Golbat's Air Cutter does good damage to both of us, but the following turn Rock Slide KOs one Golbat and leaves the other one in the yellow, meaning Infernape can pick it off, which leaves just Purugly and Skuntank. Purugly KOs Infernape with Slash before we KO Purugly with an uppercut, leaving Skuntank to hit us with a Poison Jab to bring us into the yellow. We double team the Skuntank, but Sky Uppercut and Takedown are enough after the Citrus Berry activates, so a Flamethrower lands into Breloom, flambeing our poor Mushroom. But Staraptor can take it out the following turn, so I'm going to take the win. After the Distortion World nonsense, it's time for the final Cyrus fight, and we KO Houndoom easily just to get blown up from Crobat's Air Slash. So I come back 3 levels later, and eventually get a run where Air Slash leaves us on just 5 HP, meaning we KO with Rock Slide, and the same goes for Honchkrow. But then Gyarados comes out, lowers our attack with Intimidate, and just kills us. And at this point, I'm not sure if it's going to be possible to beat the fight at this level. We have what I think is the best moveset we can, and no more teams that would really help. But I go back online and check again and notice something very interesting. Move tutor moves. For just a few shards, we can get different moves, and one of these moves just happens to be Thunder Punch. Exactly the move we need for this situation. We go and learn it over Sky Uppercut, and this is how it goes. Houndoom goes down to return, we barely live in Air Slash and KO with Rock Slide, and Honchkrow meets the same fate. Gyarados comes out and lowers our attack, but a 4x super effective Thunder Punch is more than enough. And last is Weavile, which is why I kept Mach Punch, to one-shot it with no risk of it hitting us. With the world saved and Satan captured, it's time for our last gym battle, and I go in underestimating Volkner. I mean like 2/3 HP and paralyzed just to see if I could, you know? Well, obviously we fail, and I go to Route 218 to activate our Poison Heal, and as I'm looking for a Tentacool, we find a shiny Gastrodon, which I didn't even know were encounters here. I knew Shellos were, but I had no idea about Gastrodon, and I wish I was recording my audio for this because I wasn't paying attention and didn't see the sparkle effect, and spent minutes trying to figure out if it was shiny or not. Needless to say, I caught our new friend, and I think his nickname pretty much sums up how I felt about it. Unfortunately, this is about a million times more exciting than the actual gym fight, where we just clicked return like 7 times and all of his Pokemon died. And the last fight before the Elite Four and Champion is of course Barry, and it goes about as well as it's been going. Staraptor Air Lace into Infernape killing us with just about anything, except for one run where we flinch Staraptor and 2-shot it, and flinch Infernape and 2-shot it as well. Then Roserade comes out and it misses its move, so we can KO it too, just for Heracross to crit Air Lace and kill us. And that crit absolutely mattered, by the way. But I think besides leveling, this is our only chance to win. Lots and lots of flinches. Eventually, we get another run where we flinch past Staraptor and Infernape, and Roserade misses a Grass Whistle, so we can KO it. Heracross comes out, but without a crit, it can't kill. Second to last is Snorlax, but 2 Mach Punches take care of him, leaving just Floatzel, which goes down to 1 Thunder Punch. Here's our stats at level 65. Massive attack and decent enough speed, and a slight moveset change of Sky Uppercut over Mach Punch because I think we should be faster than most everything in the Elite Four. I'd rather have the power. But we are relying on 2 90% accurate moves for most of our damage, so we'll see how that goes. First on the chopping block is Aaron. His lead Yanmega gets fried by a Thunder Punch, and next is Drapion, and probably the one I'm most worried about as it has Air Lace, and it does chunk us, but thankfully we connected 2 Sky Uppercuts to get the KO. Heracross is third, and thankfully doesn't have Air Lace, but it does have close combat, which really hurts as return brings it to the red before getting healed, but another return can KO. Vespiquen goes down in 2 thunder punches, never even attacking us, and last is Scizor, which barely hurts with an iron head before going down. The second Elite Four member is Bertha, and her lead Wish Cast gets taken down to what I can imagine is only 1 HP before landing a weak Zen headbutt and going down on the following turn. Gliscor's out next, and return is barely enough for the 2-shot after he misses an Ice Fang. Golem comes out and gets turned to dust by a Sky Uppercut. Next is Rhyperior, and it barely hangs on from an uppercut and lands a Rock Wrecker, which does next to nothing and goes down on the following turn. Lastly is our Ace Hippowdon, but Sky Uppercut and return are too much for it. Third is the fiery fucker Flint. His lead Houndoom gets put down by an uppercut, and Flareon, Rapidash, and Magmortar all die tragically in a Rock Slide. And Infernape gets flinched by another Rock Slide, meaning return can pick up the KO for surprisingly our easiest Elite Four member yet. Lastly, Elite Four is Lucian, the Psychic type specialist, and easily the hardest for little old Breloom. On our first try, we one-shot Lucian's first 3 mons with return, and then fell to Bronzong because we missed a Sky Uppercut. Fine, I say to myself, misses happen, but every attempt afterwards we never one-shot Espeon with return, and immediately died to a Psychic. I looked into the numbers and we had a 6.25% chance of one-shotting Espeon, and it just happened to be on the first try. So afterwards I just tried to flinch with Rock Slide, and eventually we do, meaning we get past the dumbass cat and one-shot Alakazam with return before getting revenge on Bronzong with an uppercut, leaving just Gallade, but even though Psycho Cut hurts, 2 returns hurt way worse, meaning we beat the last Elite Four and it's time for the champion. She leads with Spiritomb, and I'm not gonna lie, this thing really fucks up the plan. It has Psychic, which we've just seen isn't good for Breloom, and it's too bulky that we can't 2-shot it, so we're just like straight up fucked. Except you remember how earlier I called return the emergency TM? After many more attempts, I break out the emergency TM return. Well, this is the super emergency TM. Swords Dance, one of the best boosting moves in the game. So we sold an arm and a leg to buy Swords Dance, but I can hear you viewers asking, what good is doubling your attack if you still won't even KO Spiritomb? And that's simple. We'll come back a few levels later so we can one-shot it. And I hear you viewers asking again, what about all the damage you'll take from Psychic? Well, that's where the third part of this plan comes into play. In a house in Pastoria City, you'll find a lady who will give you a random berry every day, and one of those berries happens to be the Payapa berry, which will reduce the damage of super effective Psychic type attacks, so we have more HP for Cynthia's other poke. Let's see how it plays out. We Swords Dance as Spiritomb lands Psychic for pitiful damage and goes down to 1 Thunder Punch, and Togekiss follows the same fate. Blizzard is also one-shot by return, and Garchomp comes out, but we miss and he lands a Flamethrower, which we can thankfully live and KO on the next turn. Milotic is second to last and it's fried by a Thunder Punch, and lastly is Lucario, which is absolutely demolished by an uppercut, meaning yes, you can beat Pokemon Platinum with only Breloom. This was a really fun run, not super difficult, but not too easy, and using Breloom is always a fun time. I think Poison Heal really carried though. Being able to recover so much HP in a battle is just broken, so I think I might try this challenge again in the future just to see how much of a difference it actually made. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, I really appreciate it, and let me know what other kinds of Pokemon challenges you want to see me do. Whether that's full team runs, mono type, mono Pokemon like this one, I'm down for whatever. And with all that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.